Hi, my name is Elizabeth, and for the last year I have been filming and editing my own videos and documentaries to upload to YouTube. Now, I didn't know anything about editing before I started this channel, but I got my hands on an iPad Pro and I've been using the app called Lumafusion. For the next half an hour, I'm going to walk you through every setting I use to create videos on Lumafusion. This is going to be a really simple tutorial showing you really simple tips and tricks to create your own content. You don't have to spend tons of money on fancy software, and you don't have to have a ton of editing knowledge to create great and entertaining content. So tune in for the next half an hour. I hope you learn a lot, and good luck guys on filming your own content. Okay, so I'm going to open up Lumafusion, which is this little icon here, and here we have kind of the screen you get presented with as you start. What a lovely picture of myself there. So breaking this down, this is basically all of the projects I've worked on before and done things. And so if I want to start a new project, I will click this little symbol here, which is like a square and a plus, brings up new project, and I will name it Snow. I don't ever mess around really with the settings, I just stick to the same normal frame rate, and then I will click on that. So here we have the kind of the normal screen thing. So here, down here, this is all the things that you get to edit. You can mess around and change this up so that you can have it in different areas, but this is kind of the normal and my preferred setting. And so this is where all the video editing is going to happen. This here is going to be all of the albums and ways to get your media. So I'm just going to open my videos folder, which is all the videos that are saved to my Photos app on the iPad. So everything you will find in here in Photos is going to pop up in this one. So the video actually that we're using today is way back in February, so I'll just keep scrolling for a while. But here we go. But as you can see, the Lumafusion, the reason it is so good and the reason iPad Pros are so good is that it kind of handles that, except for the fact that it's jumping a bit now, absolutely awesomely. So here we have the videos, and this is the first one of the day. So if you just hold and drag, and you can just go and drop it in down here. So here we have the bit of video that we want to view, and if we press here, we can hear, you can hear everything that's going on as well. Now that is 6 seconds of footage, and sometimes having this whole thing to scroll along is a bit difficult. So if you get 2 fingers and pinch the timeline, you can, doesn't shorten the clip or anything, it just kind of shortens the view. So you zoom in and zoom out so that I can scroll really quickly with just a little movement through quite a lot of footage. I very rarely watch an entire clip because when you're editing, you have to remember that you are watching things constantly and you will have to watch things over and over and over again. So a quick glance is usually enough to decide whether I want to keep something or not. So basically we're just going to work our way through. So this is the first clip of me talking. So I'll listen to this. Hey everyone, so today I came, you're very wonky, there's food there. Today I came to St. So if I'm watching something, especially because I like to make mistakes, so this section here that I just watched was my first attempt that was then failed. I then start again, so I'll press this button here to cut. So if I just do that again, this button here is a little pair of scissors, and that basically cuts the footage at this blue line. If I cut it here and I know that I don't want to use this bit, I can then select this bit of video and I will press the bin button and get rid of it. I will then watch the next bit, and hopefully if I don't fail or I do fail, then I will watch until again. Oh, there you go.
To eat my own hair.
So that's the bit I want to keep it from. Cut and delete and continue watching.
Hey everyone, so today I came to St Andrews to check out St Andrews Aquarium because I can't believe I've never been. And normally January from February now. February, it's an F month, really long, and pain in the arse, really long. And
I try not to swear or use stuff, and so here I go to say pain in the thing. So if I cut that out or watch, make sure.
Pain in the arse, really long, and you don't really want to be outside. However,
so that's, get rid of that, and now I have to see that the two scenes together.
You don't really want to be outside. It's an F month, really long, and
ooh. So the other way you can edit.
you don't really want to be outside.
Oh, except for that works.
Month, really long, you don't really want to be outside.
So that's a bit shorter. So when I want to work on things really tinily, I zoom in on this so that I have a lot more control over the use of it. And instead of cutting, because when I've cut it, it still remembers that video, so I can put pretty much the whole video back in by dragging out from this point. So if I cut it too late, I can just drag this back a little bit until
you don't really want to be outside. It's an F month, really long, you don't really want to be outside.
So that will do, and then I can zoom it back out again. So that is a really handy way of trying to make sure that they all match up without having to re-drag in and find the sections. I should say here that, as you can see as we're changing, that this section here has little yellow lines. So the yellow lines are the sections that are included in this, and the little gaps show you bits that you haven't used. That helps to show you what clips you've used in the video already and helps you keep track of that, and also lets you know kind of where in that frame that you're sitting. So if I know that I'm missing that bit and I drag back, that's gonna increase there.
It snowed, and now I think I am in the most beautiful place I've ever been, which is St Andrews in the snow. And I mean, the aquarium has to be on the back burner. Whether I'll go today or not, I don't know, but let's have a play in some snow instead.
Okay, so I'll cut just by dragging back. I'll drag back to that just to check. So I have, oh god, that's a terrible face, let's move on. So I have kind of checked out whatever I filmed, and I just filmed a series of snippets. So these all here are pretty much little tiny clips. So these numbers will show you how long each clip is. So the clip that we just looked at with me talking is 54 seconds and 7 milliseconds. So this clip's 9 seconds, that's 1 minute, that's 8 seconds, 12 seconds, 26, 23, 29. So all these clips here are pretty much 20, 30, even 4 or 5 second long clips of just some really pretty things I've seen at the beach. When I'm editing this kind of stuff, where it's just lots of kind of pretty clips with not a lot of talking, and this is the only kind of talking section, I would edit this to music straight away. So how do we get to our music section? Well, up here is a little symbol in the top corner. That will change, that symbol, depending on what you are looking at. So I'm currently looking in my photos folder. So that symbol looks like the photos from the Apple icon. But by clicking on it, we open up the folder that says Photos, Imported, Storyblocks, Titles, Transitions, and iTunes. Now, iTunes is one way to get to the music. However, because YouTube runs under royalty things, if you use normal music, they won't let you post to YouTube because you don't own the rights to the songs. However, YouTube have a really good selection of their own music that you can use in any videos. But I haven't worked out a way yet to download that on my iPad directly to here. So I download it on my Mac and then Bluetooth it across to Lumafusion and import it. So that can all be found in my imported section. I've also got some on Google Drive. So I think the ones I want to look at which is the latest music, is the ones that are on Google Drive, and we've got all of these new kind of music. And I want to go for something that's kind of background but kind of cool, so I'll just listen my way through them. Turn that down a bit. Nope. That's a wedding song. I don't know why I downloaded that. Too creepy. Oh, this might be alright. Okay, we're gonna keep that in mind, but maybe not. Okay, that sounds better. We'll go with that. So this gets put into this bottom column. So if we go back to the start, we have different levels and layers here. This is the first and main layer of your videos. But say I wanted to have this voiceover not there, but up here. It would then kind of, you know, piling on top of each other, sit over the layer. But if we click on this, we can do a lot of stuff to each individual clip. Now, I have done a bit of editing for stuff like wind. This doesn't need it, and I have found that I'm very unsuccessful. So I'm going to ignore the volume, except for the fact that sometimes if I'm recording audio, I always like to bump it up to about 8 decibels, just to make it stand out from the back of the music, but I probably won't do that till later. But down here we have other options. Here we have all the stuff to do with where this frame is going to sit, if it's going to zoom in, zoom out and do different things. This is all about speed, so I can speed it up so that I'm talking really fast. Oh, really fast. Wait, let's go down. Which I don't want to do, so I can put it back to 1 so that I don't sound like a munchkin. This again is all sound, and here is all special effects. So if I wanted to make them, if I wanted to look like a comic, or here is a lot of, you can also do green screen work and everything. Oh God, how do I get rid of that now? Oh, up here is an undo button, so we just undo that. But what we could do is if we double tap on this and go to shape, we can move this around. So if I wanted to do a voiceover, I could play it so that this just pops up in the top corner.
Hey everyone, so today I came to St Andrews to check out St Andrews Aquarium because I can't believe it.
Which is good. You can keep layering on top of this. I think you can have 4 layers up, and you know, you could have lots of different things going on. There's lots of possibilities with that, which is really cool. But normally I save at least 1 layer for transitions and text over the top. But I'll put everything back to normal. So this is the same. You can have 4 layers down, I think, or 3 layers down with sound. And again, if we open this up, we have exactly the same kind of thing, but just a bit less options. We can change the volume up and down of the music, and we can also change the speed of the music. Really, it's the volume that you change, if anything at all. So we click the button back up here and we get back to our photos, and that drops us exactly back off where we kind of left. And oh, just let that drop in for a bit longer. It's not normally quite as slow as this, even though that's not very slow. It's because I filmed this in February, so my iPad's probably just catching up. on what we've included and not. So we've put in the text and everything, so yeah, there you go, dropping back in so I know what I've used. I'm just gonna stick a load of clips in and kind of watch them as I go and edit the bits that I like to the music, and I'll let you know if I do anything fancy along the way. But again, it's key about just reducing the amount of time you have to watch, because if I watched all these first without editing, I would doubly increase my time, and editing takes a while. And really, a lot of it is just on judgment, especially when you're editing to music and playing around. See, I like the waving, but I didn't like the... so this is the other thing I should point out. If you press cut, it will cut both together, and this little line here, if you can see this little line right there, is a link. Now, this is slightly problematic when it comes to music. So if you just want to cut the clip, you must have to click on the clip first and then press cut, and it won't cut this at all. If you want, if you didn't do that and you cut both together, oh god, no, I can't do it. Out of habit, right, and cut both together, this link thing becomes a bit of a problem, because if I went to delete this clip, because I like this bit but I don't like this bit, and just deleted it, it would also delete the linked music with it. So press the undo button. You can undo this by clicking this, and I think it's that button. Nope. Oh, the link, yeah, that makes more sense. There's a little link coil. You can press that and it unlinks the footage. So if you do make a mistake and you do cut it and you don't want it linked, you can unlink it. But for the moment, I don't want to cut the music at all. So I will just cut the clip. So again, just cutting the clip, deleting in the delete box. Okay, I'm talking, but I don't really care about me talking, whatever I'm saying. And again, editing is a very personal thing. People will prefer different styles of editing. People will prefer different things of editing. So from this little thumbnail up here, I can see that that is a little picture of some zoomed in waves. So that might be quite a nice link from seeing the sand to the waves to the thing there. So I'll chuck that in as a see how it goes. Okay, so we jump from something with snow just to something with sand. So maybe as a filler, we could move this clip and put it over there. So to move a clip, you just tap, hold, and you drag. The yellow, these yellow lines that form around the thing are really key in knowing how to edit kind of this video. So if you put it here and the lines are like that, it will squidge in place. So that clip that I went over, it just got bumped up. But if I want to move that clip and I want this to completely replace the clip, I'll wait for that yellow box to appear. Now I either can keep it keeping the same thing in the timeline so that it doesn't over go from that clip, or I can keep the original full length of the clip. So if I just kept the timeline duration, this clip at the moment is 6 seconds and 15 milliseconds. If I keep timeline duration, it gets cut down to the 5.07 seconds that other clip took up, so that it's not taking up any other time. It just happens that I don't want to do either of those, so I'll just keep on doing until thing, and I just want this replaced here. So if you go back and see how that's looking. See, I didn't like that pan up. So just to get rid of that, instead of cutting it, I can just, you know, squidge it up. And I think it'd probably be better if that, like, weird music that's going to come in matches this. Okay, keep going. So I can watch it on speed kind of thing to see what gist I'm getting, if I want to like include any of it. No. I find the easiest way, you can watch it, so you can click on a clip and you can watch it just up here on its own, but you can't edit anything as you do it, so I always find it a lot easier to drag it in, watch it down here, edit if I need to, and then oh, see that I did it again. I cut without the link. Oh, drama, look, it disappears. I quite like that, that's quite good. Oh god, how long is this song? So long! So let's have a look what we've got so far.
Believe it or not, I don't know, but let's have a play in some snow instead.
Okay, it's probably not the best edited thing, but it's an idea of a mini editing thing, and this music is boring me now. So we can cut music just the same as we can cut any other thing. So we can cut and delete the rest of it. We can, as you have kind of noticed, there is volume with all of these videos. So the easiest way to do that is if you press on a video and do this, we can separate the audio. That means that this up here now doesn't have any audio attached to it, and that audio has jumped down here. So I don't really want any audio for this, so I can delete it. And normally I go along right at the end of a video and kind of get rid of as much as possible. However, when it comes to the waves, we might want to keep some of this audio. So, which on this clip in particular, maybe, that was far too windy. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. I'm trying to think. So on this clip, which has waves, and hopefully not a lot of wind, we might want to keep the audio, but maybe we don't want the audio to be quite as loud. So sorry, I'll go back to that. Double tap on the clip, press the volume, and we can play the clip here and adjust the volume to what we want. So we kind of want it to sit about here. Now when it comes to all the audio, you can adjust all the bits of audio individually. The thing you want to avoid touching is this thing over here. So I would have adjusted all the audio, and sometimes I accidentally, as I'm doing, tap this by accident. That has kind of changed the entire volume for the whole thing. So if you accidentally tap it down, which is why one of my videos that was uploaded to YouTube actually had very little sound, is because this controls the overall volume. So they all will stay in the same kind of,
I can't believe I've never
range. So representatively, you know, if I've made this one louder than that, that will be louder than that, but they will all be quieter. So I can make all of it quiet now, so you can barely see, or I can make all of it super loud.
I think I am in the most beautiful place.
So if you want to adjust that, that's fine, but I normally try and leave this well alone so that I don't accidentally end up making things really, really quiet. So as well as music at the bottom, you can also have audio voiceover. So to do this, I normally have a little microphone that plugs in, but for the case of today, I'll just show you it normally. So say you have a clip, let's put a clip in. There's some nice seagulls doing their thing, and I want to talk about the seagulls. I can press this button, which is plus, and it will show you voiceover, transition, main title, overlay, all these different things. So I want to put in a voiceover. So this screen then appears, and down here you can see this moving, and this is my voice. So if I talk really quietly, it'll go down, and if I shout really loud, it'll go up. So this button here will start the recording, and then it will count me down, and I can start talking about seagulls. Seagulls don't actually exist. They are just a type of bird. Okay, that was a terrible voiceover. But you can then press play and listen to it back, whether you want to accept or reject said voiceover. Oh, press play down here.
Seagulls don't actually exist. They are just a type of bird. Seagulls don't actually exist.
Okay, so say that's fine. I'll do that, yes. And I'm going to get rid of the second part because that makes no sense. So here I've got a voiceover, and like I said, you can layer things. So when it comes to me talking over things, what I normally do is I'll come up here and I will cut the video at the same point, and I will click on this and I will make this audio much lower, so that the audio still plays in the background, so that it doesn't seem like quite as much of a cut off. And then I will then increase the volume to about 8 for the thing. So as you're listening, it kind of merges rather than...
Seagulls don't actually exist.
And then this audio could carry on exactly the same on the other side, but if I cut here, I would then increase that volume back up to here, and this is the little lines is where, you know, the normal is, which I've got for the rest of it. So as you could listen.
Seagulls don't actually exist.
It kind of flows a bit, and if I got rid of the music completely here, you kind of notice the big gap.
Seagulls don't actually exist.
Well, I think you do. doesn't actually sound that up to there. So that's what you can do with voiceovers. I don't really ever use more than 2 audio layers. I don't really have a need for that. I'm either putting music on there doing a voiceover. I have used the multiple up there layers again with our little moving the thing right down. Again, you can do this but with anything. Let's put it up here so that we, you know, as an example of movement. Let's put them up here. And the other thing I do is you can keep lots of different things in different folders. So if you go back up here and go back to imported, I can also import videos, which I have imported. If it's a GoPro video, sometimes it doesn't come up on the Photos app for some reason. So you have to chuck it into, you import it manually. So I've got some GoPro videos here that I use. And I also have the videos for my YouTube entry, so I will just drag and drop that in, which is already kind of saved. And the end of a video I will put in and cut here, and that's my outro. But if I want to title something, we haven't done that. I can title that by going up here and clicking titles. It then gives us a ton of kind of options and presets. To be honest, I pretty much ignore most of them, and it winds me up that the one right at the top is an angled one, and you have to scroll down to get the normal one, but I'll drop this in. And you can double tap it, and here we have all the presets to use. So if you double click on here, you can edit this text in this box up here. So if I call it Snow St Andrews, I can change it. I can adjust the opacity of it. I can change the size of it. I can change the spacing. I can't change the size of it by doing this, so remember to go up here. Loads of different things. I can change the colour, the edge colour. I can pick the colours of like any colour ever. I can add a shadow. I can add an angle. I can change pretty much everything. If I wanted to add more to this, I can make another layer, and so you can change all the things with the titles. And basically that is pretty much all I use for making videos. It's just a lot about what you fancy and what you like and the preferences and all the little tips and tricks and things. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. I don't think there is. So basically, to summarise, you can import from this little button up here. You can hit all of your favourite things. So albums and titles and music all comes from this little button in the corner here. Super easy to get videos in. You just drag and drop them over here. To edit and cut, you basically press the scissors, and you can link and unlink things. So if I moved this around, the title would come with it unless I unlinked it. To move stuff around, you basically drag and drop. You can either replace if you get the circle or slide in with the line. You can have different layers, so you can have little square box at the top, or you can layer it below to have music and a voiceover. You can increase and decrease the speed of videos, and you can increase and decrease the volume. So I can increase the speed and decrease it. And really, as long as you know how to move stuff around, how to cut and do different audios, this is kind of all you really need. Just don't underestimate how long this will take. I mean, this whole thing is only a few minutes long, and it's not really fine-tuned, and especially if you have a good long video to edit, it does take absolutely ages and probably one of the most time-consuming bits of the video footage process. But it's really fun, and you can really play around with it. If I wanted to play around with this a lot more, I definitely could, and I could also do effects and things like that on this footage, but it's just not something, you know, that I feel like I need to do. And this is basically everything that I do in my videos. And I suppose the last thing that I would show you is the fact that I can then export it. So down here we have a little share kind of button. If you export it as a movie, you can export it straight to YouTube, but I like to download it to Photos first. You check all this, you check you've got enough space in everything, and you check what kind of quality you want. You can whack the quality up or down if you want to. I normally just do it in HD. And then you press this little button up here, which is the export button, and the movie will write. In my opinion, if it's anything like a 15 to 10 minute video, it'll probably take potentially 10 minutes, maybe a third less of the time of however long it is to write the movie. And then you go stick it on YouTube to upload, which really tends to take 2 to 3 times longer than the actual video. So just bear that in mind when making videos, that you do actually have to export it, and that takes time too. And make sure you give everything a watch through before you export, actually, not that this matters for this one, just to make sure everything is there. But basically that then, if we go into Photos, gets put down here, and I can play the video we just made. Which I'm not going to do because it's not that fun. So that is my kind of really super simple, quick and easy guide to editing in Lumafusion. It's really hands-on, everything's kind of based on gestures, and you know, you can move around on this and move this at the same time, so you can use the pencil and your finger, and it's just a really nice and neat way to edit software, and I love it. Editing this has become so much easier from doing using this than any other software like iMovie or that, and so I am super chuffed with it. And that's it, guys. I hope you found it useful.